Hey guys, Zomfox here, and we have another player who signed with the USFL team. This time it is Jeremiah Pharms Jr., formerly of the Pittsburgh Maulers. He is officially the fifth player to go from the USFL to sign to the NFL, which is a pretty cool thing to be. As for him, in terms of his stats, he pretty much came out of Pharms University, which is one of those not true FBS schools. He played a bit, I'm pretty sure, the Indoor Football League, but as for the USFL, he pretty much played every single game. He had 2 sacks and 32 tackles. He was a decent player. He was picked in the 26th round of the draft, the way they did the drafting thing. But he was the 7th pick in that round. Overall, he was a decent player, but he was a defensive tackle, and he did play on the Maulers, so not many people probably knew who he was. As for the team he signed to, he ended up signing to the New England Patriots, which this one is another one that's weird for him. The Patriots, just like the Steelers, do run a 3-4 defense, meaning they only have technically one true defensive tackle position, and that's nose tackle. And their food chain is starter Davon Godchaux. Their second string is Christian Barmore. Third string is Carl Davis, and fourth string is Brian Cowart. As for these 4 guys, the one thing that's, I guess, good for him is there isn't any stud like there was in the Pittsburgh. There's just solid players. Overall, the big ones to note about when you look at their stats and stuff like that is that Brian Cowart was a 5th round pick a couple years ago. He didn't really play last year. He played 19 and 20, but he didn't really do that much. He did start 14 games for them, though, in 2020, where he did get 14 solo tackles and 27 total, with a few QB hits, which is, always solid, and he had a sack. But then he didn't play, so his injury, so yeah, he's now, the 4th stringer, and then their 3rd stringer, Carl Davis. As you can see, he's been in the league for a little bit. He was a 3rd round pick of Baltimore back in 2015. He's kind of consistently played, I guess, but he didn't really play that much in the last couple of years, though with New England did start 4 games for them, as different as, the injury to Brian Cowart and stuff like that, which eventually did lead him to get 12 tackles, and then 19 total and a sack. So he actually did a lot despite his little time on there. And then their starter and backup, Christian Barmore, he was a 2nd round pick literally a year ago. So safe to say that he's going to probably get more playing time instead of just 2 starts. And in those 2 starts in 17 games he played total, he actually had 46 total tackles, which is very impressive. His 3 TFLs are great, and his 1.5 sacks are solid. So he's definitely going to be probably improving a lot. And then Davon Godchaux, he was a 5th round pick for Miami back in 17, and he was with them all up till last year, where last year he did start 16 games. It's naturally for the defense tackles, sometimes, they play multiple tackles, stuff like that, you know what I mean. Overall, though, in the 16 games he started and 17 that he played, he had 65 total tackles and a sack and a forced fumble. And pass defense, a forced fumble. That's pretty good. Overall, he was a legitimately solid tackle. And aside from 1 year in Miami, where he only was able to start 5 games, ever since his 2nd year, he's basically been a full-time starter, and he's had legit stats. So, for the guy that matters, Jeremiah Pharms, he could become I think legitimately it's going to be hard for him to make this roster. The fact is he doesn't have really any NFL experience as actual games. And with Brian Cowart, he's questionable because of injury stuff, so maybe he'll get above him if he makes the roster due to, him being injured. But realistically, his best I could see is maybe 3rd string. But him being above Carl Davis, I don't even really see that either. But at least you say with Davis is that his stats weren't as impressive as some of the other guys who started less games but played the same, you know what I mean? Overall, though, I think that Pharms has an okay chance to make the roster, but not a great one. But the fact that he did get signed is a good thing. It's the first guy from, the Pittsburgh Maulers to get signed, and that's always pretty cool to see. So overall, it's been Zomfox. Enjoy this content, want to be notified as soon as I upload any video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, I'll see you guys next time, and have a great night.